What's going on, everyone? I'm Teray, and thanks for stopping by Filling the Hole. Join me each week as I sit with guests as they share their experience, strength, and hope on our journey to overcome suffering. Please enjoy this episode of Filling the Hole.
Both recording?
I sure hope so.
There you go. Now we're both recording.
Okay. Well, why? I can see the whatchamacallit, bud. All right. That looks good. Today, I have the privilege and honor of having my sponsor, Bob. Bob is just an incredible human being, and I'm very thankful to have his guidance as I navigate this thing called sobriety.
I am a deeply flawed, tall as fuck, recovering addict, and I'm really grateful.
Patient and kind and generous and loving.
And I'm really grateful that somehow the universe has conspired to bring Teray into my life because apparently I'm an older version of you. You're my younger doppelganger, which is very flattering to me if you've ever seen a picture of Teray.
And very flattering if you've seen Bob. He's my spirit doppelganger. And we have a lot of overlap. And I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I call it God flow. That's a phrase that I use in my life. It doesn't mean I'm religious. I'm not wearing a robe or shave my head. Yes, my head is shaved.
I was going to say that wasn't you joining a Buddhist temple after this.
But I believe, as Sondheim says, we see what we look for. And so I'm constantly trying to look for solution and look for light. And I'm from Jersey, guys. I'm a motherfucker.
Woo.
Right? But I'm 63 years old, so I've been around for a while. And
you look damn good for 63.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Something wrong with my mic?
You look fabulous for 63.
Thank you. But I'll tell you this, since we're talking about looks, I used to work out, even though I was always in a relationship. I used to polish the lure. Even though I was in the relationship, I'm always going to the gym and trying to be bigger and look sexy. And I would say to you, oh, no, I just do this for my health. But I'd go into the gym and find the one motherfucker who wasn't looking at me. And then suddenly I was training legs. I'm like, hey, I'm working in. So today I actually train to actually strengthen my mind and my spirit and also make amends to this body that I have done so much damage to during the course of my active addiction. So
I think I'll speak for myself. I can totally relate to that. I think active addiction, you're not really caring about much of anything, let alone your physique or your health or any of that good stuff.
I mean, I would get high and then lose in the course of 36 hours, I would lose 12 pounds.
Yeah.
And then I'd look in the mirror, 12 pounds of really hard won muscle. And I'd look in the mirror and I'd go, I look good, like a total fucking idiot.
I'm snatched.
There I am, look at me. I didn't need that extra weight. That was getting in my way.
That was in the way. I mean, this is going to be easy because I feel like we just have so much to talk about. And I'm excited to hear your story. I love the question that I posed last week, which was, do you recall our first encounter?
Yes, I do. So I was recently, a couple months ago, I guess, in L.A., because I live in Philly, but I work in L.A., and I was out there for work. And so I decided, and L.A. is where all the police tape is from my active addiction, like every corner. There's an incident, at least in my mind. So I doubled down on meetings, and I went to a lot of meetings and went to a lot of in-person meetings. And I was in a meeting that I think you'll agree was not being well run. There was
Well, we'll get into that, but yeah.
Not that it has to be my way, but I'm a Capricorn, and Capricorn's mantra is, it doesn't have to be my way. It has to be as good as my way.
There it is.
But anyway, we're in this meeting together, and there was a big snafu that was going on. So I stood up and reintroduced myself, just sort of get the ball rolling again. And I know that you laughed, and you were sitting one person away from me. Mm-hmm. And then we shook hands.
Yeah.
And said hello. And then you shared, and I shared, and
we both shared in that meeting.
Yes.
And in the program, they talk about, wanting what they have when you're trying to find a sponsor. And I didn't know that you were just this giant Jersey, sweetheart. But I knew that you were large and in charge, which is something I think I've considered myself over the years. But when you stood up and you spoke with, I guess, self awareness, just self, like you were strong in your delivery and you seemed knowledgeable and caring. I was like, that's what I want. That's who I want. It was just kind of your conviction.
And here's the thing. Confidence. After 63 years, I'm finally really liking who I am.
Yeah.
I would tell you years ago, oh yeah, I think I'm the shit, but I had a lot of unresolved stuff, and a lot of self-pity, believe it or not, for someone who was thriving in my personal life. So my very first addiction was fantasy, right? I had a very powerful, tumultuous family life when I was young. Looking back, when I finally went to rehab and started doing some, I was in therapy for years. Therapy was great, but we didn't really ask the questions that get asked in this program when we do inventories.
Yeah.
So I recommend both. But I never felt safe when I was a kid. And what's interesting is that's where our stories kind of overlap. Like being these big guys, right? I always stood out. All I wanted to do was hide and try to figure shit out.
For the record, if I may, I'm 6'3", and Bob is taller than I am. Right?
Right, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's hard for us to hide,
Yeah.
right? But I never felt safe at home, and so I used to read every fantasy book I could get my hands on, books about magic.
Yeah.
There's a great kid's book called Half Magic. I recommend Edgar Egberts, I think is his name. Anyway, I love that book. Then I read, of course, The Lord of the Rings, and I read Dune and all this stuff because I was all about not being where I am right now. Don't get me started on Gollum as the ultimate tweaker.
I was just thinking your Gollum references are priceless.
All right, I'll go in. Here's the
Yes.
deal. So look, if you look at Gollum, he looks like he's had a baggie his entire life, right? He's got something he calls his precious. He's completely addicted to that ring of power, right? And he looks the way he looks because he's been using that ring in the underworld to be invisible so he could catch fish and kill people, right? So putting on a ring to be invisible, which creates incredible solitude. Hello, addiction.
Ultimate, yeah.
Right?
Ultimate.
Okay. And so then Frodo has to take that ring because he's the purest of them, and he's got the burden of carrying that ring. And it turns out that he requires what? A fellowship to take him to help him try to get to Mount Doom to cast that ring and destroy it, right? And who goes with them ultimately? They all get separated, but one person, Sam Gamgee, right, who is ultimately his sponsor, who doesn't carry the ring for him, but guides him on his journey. And when they get to the very end, oh, spoiler alert, if you don't know the movie or haven't read the books, the person who winds up destroying the ring is the tweaker himself, Gollum.
Because he jumps into the fire.
He bites the ring off of Frodo's finger, and then he falls into the crack of doom.
And I mean, who hasn't bitten the finger off of a fellow or a buddy when in active addiction, right?
Anyway, to give you, and also remember when he puts the ring on, evil can see him, right? The Nazgul. Anyway, I'm a total Tolkien nerd.
I love it.
But the most important thing here is that I didn't want to be where I was because I didn't feel safe. And so I wanted to be all caught up in fantasy, which later on bites me in the ass, right? So I also have a secret. I'm not carrying a ring at that point, but I know I'm different. I had a huge crush on my camp counselor who looked like Jesus and smelled like patchouli. He played a wooden flute. Hello, Freud. And he used to put us to sleep by playing this big wooden flute. And I didn't have a sexual desire for him, but I just was in love with this guy. I wanted to be around him all the time. And I just want to say for the record that being gay isn't being all about dick and muscle booty. It's also about wanting to have love, And I'm not going to
Yeah.
go into my relationship with my dad and all that stuff. The bottom line is, I was born this way, and I am Mother Nature's contraceptive because we're running out of resources, people, and gay people need to be supported at least with equal rights because we are the responsible for not propagating, and I think there are enough of us on the planet. Hello. Right.
I think there should be a stupidity test that is required.
Well, you have to have a license to drive a car and to buy a gun, supposedly,
Yeah.
and to
Why?
fish. So you
Why,
need to have a
why
license
not?
to be a
Why not
parent.
creating another human being? The same, I guess, requirement.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues out here.
Yeah.
But I'll go back to this. That being gay, I had the secret, right? And so, anyway, I'm from Jersey. So being gay in Jersey for me was kind of like that cartoon cat dog. Like I constantly, I had a great sense of humor. So women were coming at me, and I was told that my sexuality would resolve itself in the future. So I was with women, and women would like. I was so considerate and kind and funny, and so I was
The
like
perfect gentleman.
right. But I was like the cat in the Pepe Le Pew cartoons because the women would hug me and be like, "Nya nya 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 nya." I'm not going to get explicit about what I did sexually with them. Well, let's just
This
say.
is open.
All right,
form.
so
This
here's
is
the
free
deal.
range.
So when I was with women, it just meant so much to them when we had intercourse, and I didn't even know who the fuck I was.
Yeah.
So I decided that what I was going to do was perform oral sex on them, which apparently was a big. Anyway, I did what the best I could, and when I finally allowed myself, and it's funny, we say come out of the closet. When I finally let people in to what my deal was, my life started to improve. Anyway, back to addiction. So I did, like in college, I was doing drugs because they were social, but I was such a theater nerd,
Yeah.
right, that I was always careful. And when I,
You were a theater nerd. Can you tell me more about that?
oh, dude, I'm a total fucking Sondheim theater nerd.
Yeah.
But also, I'm a recovering actor.
Okay.
Right.
Wait, recovering actor.
Yes, I have a sponsor. So when I decide I want to do a monologue in public, I have to call him and say, "Hey, I'm triggered. I want to do a monologue." He's like, "You need to do some reading and call someone else
Okay.
in the program." No, it's total lie.
I was like, am I buying this? I don't think I'm buying this.
Here's the deal. All of the skills, and I actually made my living as an actor for a while, which is very cool. But
I don't think that's something I know about you.
really,
Yeah. I don't know too much about you other than, you come over, you tell me things that are wise. I try to find ways to apply them to life, and then you ask me, any secrets? And I go, no. And then I'm like, wait, do I? And I'm like, no. And then I should Google you sometime, I guess. Yeah.
you can Google me.
I won't. I like being along for the ride.
Anyway, but also I was late to the party. I was late to the gay party. You know what I mean?
What if we could backtrack? What got you, I guess, interested in acting? Was it something you knew you wanted to do? Was it, I guess?
Okay, so great. You're going to learn a lot about me.
Yeah.
So I went to college, and I had to get there on scholarship.
Okay.
My family was very poor. We didn't. No one could contribute any money towards my higher education. So I got scholarships. I did work study, and so there I was at this prestigious university on the East Coast, and then I got there and said, you know what? I'm tired of fucking doing the right thing. What am I interested in? So I pursued all the things I was interested in. And people were like, we thought you were going to be a doctor. I'm like, are you paying for this? No, I'm paying for this. So I'm going to do what the hell I want. So I got involved in the theater. I took acting classes. I took writing classes. I directed while I was in there. And that's my John, as we say in Philly. John, G-A-W-N. Look it up. So that's what I did. And then when I left college, I went to a prestigious acting school when I ran out of money, and then I just moved to Los Angeles to pursue. And I wrote stuff and did stand-up comedy and did all this stuff, and eventually,
It's really impressive. That's cool.
it's And here's the thing: my dad's a mechanic, right? Who only has a high school education. So I have a total Jersey work ethic.
Yeah.
Which when I'm on a set directing and meeting big time celebrities, I'm just like, hey, I'm just Jersey Bob here here's your mark. It's nice to meet you. Big fan of your work. Okay, let's get going.
Yeah.
So that's how that all happened. And I have to say that being a gay man and being out in Hollywood, and also now, I said I wasn't going to talk about it, being a director,
Yeah.
that I feel like I'm changing the world one grip at a time, because they're like, you're.
Grip or
No.
Oh, camera. Okay, camera grip. Right.
He made an untoward gesture.
Sorry, you got to be specific with me.
So I'm completely out on the set, and it's been interesting to be that visible and that open, and to just FaceTime my partners and then say, hey, say hi to the crew.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey. And it helps when you're 6'5".
Yeah.
It helps when you're big, and you're not asking people for their approval. You're just living your truth in front of them.
Yeah.
You know, and if anyone ever had anything bad to say about me, I don't really fucking care, because they never said it to my face.
Yeah. Right. No, I mean, and that's so powerful in its own, right? Just you are somebody that stands out in the crowd, and I think you living your truth, it's seen. You're a beacon of what it can be for people,
Right.
and so I just want to say thank you. Just the way you carry yourself. You know, I've never seen you on a set, but I've seen you in a meeting. And if you're anything like that, just thank you. Thank you for just fucking existing.
You're welcome. But also remember passing the conch to you, because you're also tall. You also have a light. You know, and there's I think it's attributed to Marianne Williamson, that the quote that, how dare you not shine as brightly as you can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm not here to take away your thunder. I'm not here to eclipse your personal sun. But I was created big for a purpose.
Yeah.
So I am not here to thwart you or to stand in your way. But my job is, if someone can see me on a set, owning who I am and loving who I am, then that may give them the courage in their own life to do that.
Totally.
Which is what this is ultimately about for us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, which is why you're doing this podcast, so
Yeah,
that people can feel
absolutely.
empowered to do what they need to do and to be who they need to be.
And have representation, or have an example of what it can be, or you know how shitty it is. You know just as well as I know, you know, being in a meeting, the magic is in the community, and it's in the stories that we, you know, share with one another. You know, for me, that was kind of like my hook, for lack of better words, for the program. It was like, I want this. I want to be a part of this. These stories, hearing other people, what they've gone through, because it provided me with hope at a time and a place where I was hopeless with myself.
Right.
You know, I didn't have any aspirations. I didn't have any goals. I just felt like a big zero.
I have to tell you that we know each other in this specific context.
Yeah.
But for me to hear you say that, it's like not my experience of you, although it's my experience of myself.
Yeah.
So I
thank you.
totally get it.
And I can't even imagine you in your head feeling that way towards yourself. So, I mean, that's something that's really important about this fucking disease, right? It preys on our deep, you know, shame or guilt. And that's where it just nestles, and it just sets up shop. And it's like, whoa, guess what, motherfucker? Get used to me, because I'm going to be right here reminding you of every fucking misstep, every single, you know, anything that you did that you felt embarrassed about or shameful about. And I'm also going to reel you in as if I'm your best friend and tell you I'm the only one that can fix it.
Right, because our disease speaks in our voice, and I love the sound of my own voice. Right? But also, I want to go back to something you said. It's really important. You know, it's always great to have wise speech in a meeting. Mm-hmm. Some of the most helpful shares in a meeting are when someone's struggling and someone says they're not feeling it. They're, you know, that look. When we hear the truth, we all arrive.
Yeah.
We all have the opportunity to arrive in that moment. So it's not about saying the right thing and then always getting the A answer. The A answer is whatever your truth is that day.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just to piggyback on that, I left rehab. I was in an IOP program, which is like a outpatient, what have you. And I was kind of dropped into outpatient with not a lot of support. And I went to a meeting that night. It was LFK.
Which stands for Leather Fetish and Kink.
And if you guys are interested in exploring, you know, your sexuality alongside sobriety, I highly suggest hopping on a Zoom. Just look it up. It's really fabulous.
Yeah, talk to your sponsor first. Let them know that you're going to go to go to a sex positive meeting,
Yeah.
because explicit talk gets
It can be
expressed.
triggering for people.
Yes, but I want to point out this, that especially in a sober leather meeting or leather fetish and kink meeting, the whole idea, I hear just as much, if sometimes more, talk of spirituality and sacredness
Yeah.
and intention in those sex positive meetings.
Yeah.
Which is not to say they're better or worse. It's just that the whole reason to go to a sex positive meeting is to find, look, I'll say this on this topic. It's really powerful. To be sober is great, but when sex was a part of what we did when we used, there's still drugs all over our sex.
Yeah.
So you can be sober for a while, and if you've been sexually abstinent, you need to. It's almost like having a stroke sexually. You need to relearn how to do things sexually
The right
sober.
way.
So a sex positive meeting can be a very powerful, positive thing for your recovery. Just talk to your
Yeah.
sponsor about it first.
Yeah. No, that is great, and thank you for elaborating on
I
that.
think it is belch in the middle of one of the words I said.
Wait, did you burp or belt?
Belch.
Belch? You say belch?
What did you say?
Aren't you from Jersey?
Yeah.
Burp.
Burp.
Belch?
Belch. I don't know.
I'm gonna need to see your birth certificate. I'm not buying this Jersey shit. I'm not buying it, Bob.
But wait. So when you throw up, how do you say you throw up? You
You throw up. You throw
no.
up.
What? Come on, Jersey.
What do you say? Puked?
Juked.
Juked? All right, get out.
Juked.
Get out. We're
Hurled.
done here.
You hurl.
I've heard hurl. I've maybe used hurled.
Power boot is when you make yourself throw up. You power boot.
All right, now we're just making shit up, people. Never heard that before.
I burped. Okay.
burped.
I may have burped while I was speaking.
Belched. My name is Bob, and I'm the Queen of England. I belched. That's good. No, I brought up leather fetish kink because I was pretty much dropped on my ass into IOP. There was not a lot of support given, and I went and I shared at a meeting, and I stood up and I said, hi, my name is Teray. I'm in rehab, but I just got the ability to go out and go to meetings, and I'm shaky. And my body doesn't trust my mind. And I was physically, because I'd never taken a burning desire before. And I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. It was scary. It was new. But I knew that if I sat with that, I was endangering myself. Because I didn't fucking trust myself. You got to understand, in rehab, you're on top of people, 24/7. You're in clinic and you're on campus, and there is CMs who monitor you. Your peers monitor you. You're lucky if you get to take a shit alone. That's how on top of people you are, and rightfully so. And the last time that I was with myself and alone, for lack of better phrasing, like I tried to kill me. That is what my addiction looked like for me.
And by trying to kill you, you're talking about using drugs excessively.
Yeah, excessively to the point where I couldn't even eat or drink water. I mean, the bare necessities.
Don't get us started about that nightmare.
I
I
mean,
know I can handle it. I'm going to set an alarm, and then I have the Gatorade right here, some eye drops, and some power bars, and some muscle milk, and every hour it's going to alert me.
what on that table did you touch?
Nothing.
Like the insanity.
For hours.
The insanity. I don't know why I went into that whole spiel.
No, you were at the LFK meeting and you took the burning desire.
Yeah, I was fucking rallied around. There were these strangers, these beautiful angels in harnesses and nipple rings and, nasal septum rings. And they all gathered around me and took my number and gave me their number and gave me a hug and told me it was going to be okay. And took me home and picked me up the next day to go to a meeting. I mean, I was rallied around. And I'm so thankful for that, because that is when I realized this is it for me.
Right.
This is the fucking missing ingredient to living a beautiful life. I never have to go it alone.
Right. And here's the thing I want to say about that. First of all, beautiful.
Thank
right.
you.
And also, if we can't hear you, we can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is scary to raise your hand in a fucking meeting. And you know, a lot of times I'll tell sponsees, raise your hand, like, but they didn't call on me. Raising your hand is the act.
Yeah.
The raising your hand is saying that I have something to say and I need help.
Yeah.
Taking a burning desire in a meeting, which is at the very end of the sharing, and you took care of yourself. And remember this, you know, you gave all those people the opportunity to show up for you. And, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know about, well, I know about you because we have a similar past, but, you know, my family life growing up was really chaotic and I never felt safe, like I was saying earlier. And then, you know, I want to say this, family today is everything. Now, my family is my partner and my husband, who used to be my husband, but now he's moved in with us, and the three of us create a household. And if
it's
you want to think that
beautiful.
we're all getting it on, I mean, we're all pretty good looking, but no, we're not.
I'd buy tickets to that show. I'm just saying.
But we just form a household. My husband is really like my brother, right?
Yeah.
So there's that family, right? Then there's also my birth family. I'm really lucky to be close to my siblings. And then there's the family that we choose. Like now Teray is a part of my chosen sober family. And we do not do this fucking alone. Because I want to. I want to go over in the corner and figure it out and come back looking all sober and shit. And then look, you know, have a nice outfit on, you know, black and white, because apparently we found out today.
And yeah, and ain't this some bullshit? Not only is my spiritual doppelganger sponsor all of those things, but also he's trying to steal my black and white, you know, print identity. That's not an identity.
I just want to point out that you're wearing light jeans and a gray T-shirt and a red hat today. But who is staying close to the uniform? Right here.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna call the zoo and tell them there's a panda loose in New Jersey, and we'll see. I'm gonna.
They're
say,
big pandas too. They're huge fucking pandas.
But no, and it's an honor, and to be a part of your family, it really is an honor, Bob. And you know, your husband and your husband and the others, you know, sponsee brothers and sisters. You know, we hop on a Sunday Zoom meeting and we get to do work together, the entire family, and it's beautiful. It's something that you know, if you are out there, you're struggling, you don't know what it looks like to be in recovery, or you know, just pick up a damn laptop or cell phone and jump on a Zoom meeting. It changed my life, and it led me to you. And now I don't have to go it alone. I have you at my side. You know, you're a phone call away. It's beautiful.
And also, I'll say this about being guys from Jersey: we don't fucking ask for help.
No.
I would be on the side of the road on the turnpike with my car on fire, and you drive up and say, "Bob, are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm good. It's all good. I got this.
Yeah.
Hydrate. Good luck."
Get to where you're going. Text me when you get there.
And it is still a challenge to ask for help. But when your family is connected to you, they'll go, hey, Bob, are you okay? Because I'm just checking in with you. And like those check-in calls are everything.
Yeah.
You know? And anyway, we can move on. I just got lost in a thought.
No, go for it. Go
No.
for it.
I was just, I guess, spaced out. The Jersey mics we had earlier.
Uh-huh.
By the way, extra juice on the Jersey mics. It's
They
really
did
good.
put some. It was really, really good. And no, we're not sponsored by Jersey Mike's. We just really appreciate
Yet.
the subs. But
Yet.
if we were to be, you know, that would totally be fine too. That would totally be fine.
But I
too.
want to say this too. It's about being big.
Yeah.
You know, I was look, when I would show up at like a supermarket in my workout clothes, right? Looking obviously like I don't work there. And then people coming up going, "Excuse me, is this on sale?" Like, because I'm tall.
That happens to me all the time. Is
right?
that what it is?
It's
Is
a
it the
total
height
tall guy
thing?
thing.
Okay.
Right? So I would like, you know, so this is important for us.
Yeah.
You said it earlier before this. Check in with your tall friends.
Check in on your tall friends, people. We we have a lot of feelings.
And we also are used to not copping to what's really going on.
Yeah,
And that's
but-
pretty much true about men in general, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But a saying that I just shared with you before this podcast was that my softness is my greatest strength.
Yeah. Another one that you say regularly that I love, and it's a nice reminder every time I hear it. Being right size. Can you? Can you
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
that?
So that's something that happens in the program, right? First of all, my disease lives in my ego. I have a very healthy ego, but my ego, believe it or not, is not. You know, there's the term of ego, like feeling confident and good about yourself. Then there's the ego that is all fear-based. My ego's job is to make sure that I don't get hurt again, right? So every decision that my ego thinks up is usually forged in fear. So, and then I'm on the lookout for all that stuff.
Yeah.
So being right sized means, as my sponsor tells me, Bob, your feelings aren't facts, but more importantly, your thoughts are not command, and do not place so much faith in what you think. Because on a good day, when I'm doing my job, right, I'm really I'm okay. But my addict brain is like having an easy bake oven. That the bulb you're supposed to use in an easy bake oven, folks, is a 100-watt bulb. And remember that we used to eat food that was cooked by the light. Well, my easy bake oven has a 40-watt bulb in it. And so I have a lot of half-baked bullshit that goes on in my brain. And I don't know the difference between a really great thought. That's why we have a sponsor, right? Right-sized means admitting that, A, despite being 6'5", that I don't have all the answers and that I can't do this by myself. So it's about bringing down, smashing the ego, and getting down to being to finding humility. The other side of it, though, that was pointed out by a dear friend, Carrie, if you ever hear this, I love you. She told me, right size also means not buying the lie that you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Being right size means balancing both of those, that we deserve care, that we don't have to have all the answers, and we're still lovable. Because growing up in my household, I thought if I wasn't indispensable, then I was going to lose my place and not be worthy of love.
Yeah, which I can totally relate to that. It didn't feel like love was unconditional. For me growing up, it felt very conditional, and it was what I could produce or what I could give or what I could, blah, 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 blah. And, that's a huge character defect or default of mine.
Right.
That I have to remind myself that I'm not of value for the things that I can do. I'm of value for the person that I am and for the heart that I have and the love that I give. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less is needed of me.
Yeah. And I'll say, we're talking a lot of program talk, which is good. The bottom line is that, like Troy was saying earlier, if you're hearing this and you think you might have, a problem, or you're just curious about addiction, just zoom into a meeting or find someone that and go to a meeting and just listen. Just listen, because the bottom line of this program is that it gives us a guideline to how to live a better life. I used to think that my brain was the be-all and end-all, and that if I could figure it out, and I can't figure everything out. Why would you reinvent the wheel every fucking morning when you wake up?
Yeah.
Right? So
that's what addiction feels like.
The wheel, like a fucking carousel, like a
carousel.
You can't get off.
Yeah, it just stuck. I think we covered what it was like. Right.
So what happened?
Yes,
anyway, well, let's say this. So remember the husband I mentioned earlier?
Yes, we love him.
So all I did when I was using was lie and hide. And you and I were just talking about this.
Yeah.
There's the time I spent trying to manage the addiction by myself. And then there was the time I spent trying to plan, he's going out of town, blah, blah, blah. Then there was me getting all fucked up. Then there was me recovering from fucked up. So I'm like, my addiction's not so bad, except that in that 1 month, 24 days was spent thinking about it, planning it, 2 days of doing it, and then recovering for 2 weeks. And that's robbing time from my marriage and all this stuff. So when I went into rehab, God bless my husband, he said, I'm out. And that was the most powerful thing he could have ever done for himself, and more importantly for me, because I was always trying to save the marriage instead of trying to save my own ass.
Save face instead of save your own ass.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a phrase I love.
So I got to work. It took me a while, but I got to work. I started going to the meetings. I went to rehab. I went to a Buddhist IOP afterwards, which was really a wonderful bonus track to my sobriety. Because
can you say more about that?
Yeah. So it was Buddhist based. So Buddhism. This is my 2-minute course in Buddhism. Is basically that. Expectation and attachment is the source of all suffering. Yes. So, and then there are some Buddhist prayers. I learned how to meditate, and I learned that there's no wrong way to meditate. Sitting quietly. People are like, I don't know how to meditate. Okay, well, start with, guided meditations, guys, are the best.
Oh, yeah.
And there's access to so many free meditations. You got Deepak Chopra, right? You got Sarah Blondin. Great meditations online. Just go grab them and just sit and listen.
On YouTube, on Spotify,
Everywhere.
Yeah, I do that. That's one of my daily practices, as you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I also learned a couple of prayers which are invaluable. Like here, look, if today, may I do no harm today to myself and others. If I can just do that, which means not being a dick in traffic, right? It means not responding to other people who are having a bad day. Because you and I both, we have an automatic involuntary response called the middle finger. That
Yeah.
you can't leave the state of New Jersey until you can give a middle finger with both hands and both feet.
Yeah. That's it.
But and then the other prayer is, may I move gently through this day. May I laugh, love, and live without fear. And may I, wait for it, here it comes, gracefully let go of things not meant for me. Right? So here's something interesting. Illegal drugs, not meant for me, apparently.
No, they certainly are not. Me either.
And to realize that, and look, I have childhood trauma. I believe you have some childhood trauma.
Just a little
Un peu?
bit.
Un peu, as they say en
peu.
français?
I'm a. Are you familiar with the ACE study?
Yes.
Adverse childhood experiences or exposure. I'm a 10 out of 10 on
Wow.
the trauma Richter.
Right. So here's an interesting thought. Using drugs and alcohol to escape, to feel better, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it
It made sense at the time.
at the time. And then there are those of us who cannot use like gentlemen or ladies.
I'm a lady man. Yeah. So that means I'm all fucked up and confused as to which lane. And
I'm just a hoe.
Yeah.
I'm just a fucking hoe on drugs. I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
not using because it's not meant for us.
Right, not meant for us. That it's trauma.
Mhm.
So here we have trauma, right?
Yeah.
And then we are learned to run away from the things that threaten us, remind us of our trauma. So we're going to run away, and then we're going to use a drug that is actually traumatizing to use,
Mhm.
and then. If we're using together, I'm co-signing for you to further harm and traumatize yourself.
Yep.
It is
And
just,
vice versa, right?
And the thing about addiction is that I know people who have used drugs recreationally who, when they stop, they're like, oh, God, it was just awful. We have a built-in forgetter.
Mm.
My disease is a great editor. It creates a really wonderful trailer for an awful movie. And
In
cuts
a
out-
world where drugs aren't that bad.
Right. In a world where you have all power and only the bad stuff happens to the people around you.
Do you do voiceover work?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, you should.
But so for those people out there who are normies who might be listening to this, you're like, oh my God, I got so fucked up. I wrecked the car. How am I ever going to live that down? For those of us who are addicts, we're like, oh yeah, the fucking car. But you know what? That car,
They'll get over it. That car wasn't even that great.
we needed a new car anyway. And we totally rationalize, and we don't remember the bad shit. We don't remember the trauma. We remember, it's just fucking crazy. And my
Yeah.
partner's a normie, and he was trying to wrap his brain around it. I'm like, he told me about an experience he had in Berlin, and it's just filled with just horrible, horrible memories and images. I'm like, great. So if I could cut the trailer for that,
Yeah.
the addict and me could cut, it would just have all the great stuff. You met some
Yeah.
new friends. You danced.
I mean,
Right, you partied like it was 1999, and so that's the crazy thing. And to make peace with that as an addict
Yeah.
is to learn that. I said this. Boy, going to quote us from earlier today.
Yeah.
I have to remember who I am as a person who's a recovering addict. So I need to remember my story. But more importantly, I need people who know who I really am to remember me. So when I'm like getting all wonky in the head about life, they can go, remember, this is who you are as a sober man, Bob. These are the qualities that are truly you and not encumbered by the drug.
yeah, strong sense of self. Is that the we were talking about? And I brought up the poster, or we were talking about right before that, just kind of the ingredients that it takes to be
Oh, yeah, so
a happy
like-
Bob or happy
Right.
Teray.
So like I was saying to Teray that, the more experience we spend getting to know who we really are as
Yeah.
sober men of integrity, or sober people of integrity, that my ingredients for Bob are written on the outside of my container. And there are days when I just get all that life fucks me up and I get confused and I can't remember what my ingredients are. So I have to go, hey, Teray, how much saturated fat do I have in me? And he has to say, remember, you're a kind person, of integrity, and you do this. And that's one of the other wonderful aspects of having a family and staying connected. Look, if you've got a shitty family, or your starter family, as I call it, if your starter family wasn't very good, you have every opportunity in your life today to create a family of people that you can love and trust.
Totally.
Because we all deserve that kind of support.
Totally.
I don't care whether you're in the program or not.
I mean, gay men, that's something, and gay women, everything in between, life isn't always kind. But it gets better, and it's up to us. It doesn't just get better overnight. Like you wake up one day and wow, life is beautiful and roses and daffodils. No, it's you've got to work for it, and you've got to put yourself out there, and you've got to be the change that you want to see in the world. Surround yourself with the people that see you, that celebrate you when you walk in the room. If you're not getting that at home, it's up to you to find that, because then it does get better.
Right. Hey, look, if love's not being served, get up from the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, we're filled with so much wisdom. And also, I feel like, we're filled with so many wise sayings. I want to say this, like, life is hard.
Yeah.
I read something, I just burped again. There it is.
Did you belch or
I
did you
not
burp?
belch. I will never belch again on your podcast.
Thank you. Oh, my gosh.
On your Jersey podcast.
Just in New Jersey. Just don't belch ever again in New Jersey.
I have to go all the way home to Philly to belch.
to belch.
I read this thing online. Oh, by the way, we talked about this too. The what's it called? On social media, the
which one? Instagram Reels?
no, just talking about the
algorithm.
Algorithm. Thank you. Algorithm used to be my hooker name. Algorithm. Nah.
That was good.
No, is it good?
Al's got rhythm.
Al's got rhythm.
Al got
I think
rhythm.
I pulled a hammy reaching for that one. But anyway, that on my social media algorithm, there's lots of sober stuff.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, again, Sondheim, I'm gay. He says we see what we look for. So when I'm looking for solutions, look, I'm just as fucking addicted to social media, right? I am. However, I get reminders every day when I start scrolling that there's a lot of great sayings and stuff. And one that I read was today, which is, hey, you know who's having a hard time right now? Everyone.
Everybody. Yeah, I saw that one.
Just be fucking kind.
Yeah.
And then I get to remember that if I'm part of the problem, like traffic again, right? Look, when I'm in traffic in front of you, I'm the problem. I'm traffic. So I don't have a high horse. So I allow myself when I drive to allow that to be a practice of, letting people in. When I'm late, I'll call ahead and say, hey, I'm going to be 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
And then instead of speeding and cutting people off, I will let people in when we're supposed to merge. I will not do the look. The worst thing in the world that I've learned to do is when someone's not driving, if they're just being a dick on the road, and when you pass them, you want to look at them to find out who they are or give them a disapproving look. I do not do the look anymore, and it's brought me so much peace.
I think about you now because I start to do it, and then I'm like, nope, don't look. Bob would be don't do it. Just don't. I'll do like a half look. I'll like glance out the side of my eye, but I won't break my neck to look at the person, or I'll try not to. But it helps, right? You said it. It's if you're not being, and this is something I've said forever. I used to say it in a more cynical way to be an asshole to people, and I would say, if you're not a part of the solution, what are you?
Oh, look at you casting some shade over here.
Right? Lead them to the insult. Don't just give it to them, baby. And, I like how you say it a lot better, and I've adopted that too. And I'm just like, look, we're on the same side. Let's figure it out together. Let's
right.
We're not against each other here. So
I want to also jump on and say this. Look, we have a lot of positive.
We have a lot to say. I don't even know where we are, but I love what we're talking about, so it doesn't matter.
Life happens.
Yeah.
Life is hard right now. There's shit going down right now.
Life is lifing.
Right, lifing in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing that I've learned is that, I'm not always going to have a great day.
Yeah.
I don't use, you know this about me, I don't use bad day. I say I'm having a powerful day or a challenging day. Because for me to decide it's a bad day, it becomes a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just doing like word fucking here. It's the fact that if I can just, a challenging day is when things are not going my way and I get to slow the hell down and try and be, anyway, life's hard. And the work that we do in recovery doesn't mean that everything's going to go our way.
Hell no. It could get worse before it gets better.
Right.
But you're setting yourself up for the better days.
Right. And also, we don't do any of it by ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the beauty.
It's hard, though. Picking up that phone used to be so hard.
It's heavy. Well, for my brain, right? Like if I used to want to talk shit, the phone was a feather, right? I that shit was as light as a feather, free as a bird, and I'm, everybody's on my dial, my quick ring, and asking for help. It's something about the Jersey that that shit will feel like a ton of bricks, and I'm, and then it's all the way on the other side of the room, so it's in China right now, and it's just like perspective.
Right. But listen, if you call someone up and say, hey, how's it going? They're eventually going to say, how are you doing? And in that moment, you can tell them the truth.
Yeah.
Right. So this is not going to, I'm so grateful, first of all, that we get to work together.
Yeah. Me too.
Because when you're sponsoring somebody, I say to Teray things I need to remember myself. And by working with Teray and my other sponsees, I am doubling down on my sobriety, because you can't fake it. If someone has to ask you a question related to their life and sobriety, I have to be living it in order to do it. And there are some days I do my best, but I'm not perfect ever.
Yeah.
So
what is it? It's in the steps. You can't give it if
you can't give away something that
you don't have.
I don't know. Is that
Right?
a herpes reference?
I think it was glitter, but also applies for herpes. You've ever been to a
Can we
drag
talk about
show?
glitter? Can we talk about glitter for a second?
All right, carry glitter or glitter that
No.
now I'm ADHDing on you.
No, glitter is fucking.
It's the worst.
First of all, gay men, glitter's not a costume. Okay, it's just not a costume.
You are going to break a lot of people's dreams
look,
right now.
As gay men, right? I feel like we have an obligation to be more creative than wearing a jockstrap and some glitter at Halloween. I'm not saying don't wear a jockstrap and glitter in your personal life.
Yeah.
But who's going to touch you? Because you could be hot as fuck, and I'm not having sex with you.
You're
if
not
you got
getting in
glitter
my
on
bed.
you.
Hell no.
Because you know what? If I have sex with someone who has glitter on them, even a little bit, months from now, it's going to appear out of my ear.
You're picking it out of every crevice for the next 3 months.
So I directed a guy who used to throw confetti everywhere. And so for an entire week on the set, he was throwing confetti everywhere. And literally 2 weeks later, I'm in the John and I dropped my pants and there's glitter everywhere. And I'm like, I've taken 3 showers and I'm wearing
You're
new clothes.
shitting glitter.
I've got confetti everywhere. So
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair suggestion to make.
what, to not wear?
Not wear just a jockstrap and glitter. What if you throw some wings on or like some horns on and then you have glitter?
Just make the effort. Just make the effort. And also, guys, look, I'm a big leather guy. Wearing your leather on Halloween? Really? That's your costume.
It's just another day.
Just be a wolf man in leather.
Yeah.
Or be a drag queen in leather.
Remind me to show you my Disney werewolf costume that my husband and I did the first year we met. We went out for Halloween. It's really cute. We got these fur vests, and I'll show you later. It's cute.
Isaac and I are all about Halloween.
Oh, bitch. Did we just make Halloween plans?
Yes, we did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a wrap.
I go all the way in. One year when I lived in West Hollywood with my husband, Walter. By the way, Walter is now a part of our life, right?
Yeah, he's part of
I
the
mentioned
family,
that, right?
and I love that. I think it's so beautiful.
But I said, okay, he goes, let's go dress up and go to the boulevard. I'm like, great. So I decided we were going to be, I'll show you the photo, we're going to be Vikings.
Okay.
And so I went downtown and went to fabric stores and made pelts. And we had wigs, and I fashioned all this stuff and did research on Vikings. And we were both in incredible shape. And we showed up on the boulevard. We were there with friends who stayed with us for about 10 minutes until they saw how it was going down, because everybody wanted their photo taken with the fucking Vikings. And I want to say this. be careful what you decide to be for Halloween because it was not the most fun for Halloween.
It didn't age well. Oh no, it was just the night.
It was just all of a sudden, back in my people-pleasing days, anyone who wanted a photo with us, please hold me up, please pick me up, throw me over your shoulder.
Attention? No, not me. I hate attention.
I know. Look at me complaining. Oh my God.
Get my good side. No, that's me too, right? I make the effort. I get glammed up, and I'm like, please, no photo. Like, what the fuck? then don't do it. Don't.
Okay, which leads me to a story about going to meetings. There was a really big meeting in L.A. with about 200 people, mostly gay men in that particular meeting. And I used to show up in painted-on jeans and a really tight T-shirt, which is how I roll.
The gay uniform.
Gay uniform, right. Except that here I am going into a meeting where you don't want to necessarily present yourself super sexually. And then people would go, I heard you share, I want to give you a hug. And they'd run up, and I'd be like, to my sponsor, everyone's like touching me inappropriately. He's like, look how you're dressed, ho.
You're a slut. Look how you're dressed.
Do you have a sweatshirt? Do you have any shirts with sleeves? What the fuck are you doing?
No, of course not. And what are sleeves? Who needs those?
That's
L.A.
That self-awareness eventually comes, right? Because there's being sober, which is not getting fucked up.
Yeah.
And there's actually living sober. And it is so much fun.
Yeah, no, we touched on this yesterday on our family meeting. One thing, I love that conversation, by the way. We didn't get a chance to catch up afterwards,
No.
But that was just such a raw, beautiful topic and discussion by everybody's contribution. It was great. It was just like sex and sobriety. You mentioned it earlier. Getting sober, you still have drugs on your sex.
Right.
And, for those that can't keep up or don't know what that phrasing is, when you fire together, you wire together.
Whatever fires together, wires together.
So your thoughts around drugs and sex, if you did those two, simultaneously, it's hard to do one without the other.
I always, my disease takes a gun to the head. Like, sex can be one of the most powerful natural dopamine releases.
Yeah.
Then you could throw drugs on it.
Then you're an addict, and you say, how do we amplify this to the max?
And ruin the nature's wonderful gift of dopamine release,
Totally,
right? So
totally.
then if you're constantly comparing the experiences you're having sober with the experiences you have when you're
It's
high.
never going to add up.
And it should never add up. It's not sustainable, right?
Yeah.
So a big portion of getting back and having sustainable sobriety is to get back in touch with what's natural. Look, I know you, right? And I, in our relationships and our life, we have so much fun. And I'll say this too. I want to apologize on behalf of Hollywood because, like in Hollywood movies, when there's an occasion, we have to make a toast, right? Or if someone's like having a hard time, right, and they say, I don't want to have this conversation. They storm out, and then someone goes, I know where they're going. Smash cut to a bar. They're sitting there. They got a bottle in front of them. So the storytelling of Hollywood.
Have some originality. It's so fucking tired and played out. Like, how about we go to a meeting when we're pissed off in a movie, right? Like, can we meditate? Like, come on, just give me variety.
I know where he's going.
I know where he's
Smash
going.
cut to a yoga class.
Oh God!
But I bring in the bottle and put it down while he's doing downward dog. Let's do some shots.
I mean, hey, that'd be variety. You still sticking to the easy way out, but then at least you got the yoga room.
I wanted
there.
to say that, when you're at a restaurant and your table's not ready, they always send you to the bar, right, so they can make money. I'm so grateful that there's not a drug dealer in the area because that would be
God.
Right?
God, that's
my
scary.
My heart goes out to all the people who are struggling with alcohol or dealing with alcohol addiction.
Yeah.
To always have to go sit at the bar because, look, I haven't had, because of the way that I work my sobriety, I haven't had anything to drink in over 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm a fucking foodie, right?
Yeah.
And I worked in restaurants, so I know which pairs well with this. I have to say that I don't miss it.
Yeah. I'm very lucky as well in that sense that alcohol, even me getting sober, it doesn't call to me. It's not, and I have friends that are alcoholics, or recovering, and no, actually, I have friends that are alcoholics too. When I think about it, and if their attraction to alcohol was like my attraction to drugs when I was in active addiction, I mean, that's torture because alcohol is everywhere. It's
Everywhere, yeah.
everywhere you turn, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Right. So we're fortunate
Very.
in that regard.
Yeah, very. Not many other regards, but that one. No, I'm joking. We are very blessed, dude. We are so blessed, and I'm not blocking any of our blessings right now.
So I want to throw this in, moving the conversation forward. So one of the things that I do, and that I know you do, is that there's a lot of people. Look, I didn't get sober to spend every day crossing my fingers saying, "Gosh, I hope I stay sober today."
Yeah.
I know that's part of people's journeys. It was certainly a long part of my journey.
Yeah.
Of just thinking, how the fuck am I going to stay sober today?
And that's okay.
Right, and that's okay because that's what it takes in that time. Like today, for the grace of God. Yes, I said the four-letter word. That's God. For the grace of God, that I don't struggle with that obsession today.
Yeah.
It could change tomorrow, dude.
Totally,
Right?
because addiction manifests. Yeah.
However, that one of the things that I do, and I know you do, is that we have daily practices.
Mhm.
Look, I don't negotiate whether I'm going to brush my teeth.
Yeah.
I may put off taking a shower for a few days because I'm from Jersey. But
I mean, and who doesn't like a little man musk? You know, to an extent.
don't get me started.
To an extent,
Apparently, my man musk smells like maple syrup.
people. Ooh, remind me to sniff you in like 3 days.
You're my sponsee. There'll be no sniffing.
All right, give me a paper towel. I'm gonna scientific reason purposes.
Here's this old T-shirt. That daily practices. So here's one you hear all the time: making the bed, right?
Yeah.
And it's great to have a normie husband who's like, great, we're gonna make the bed, because it means something, right? We get to assign meaning to it. It means that first of all, we love coming to bed at night and getting into a freshly made bed, right? But also it means that I am not going to. I used to languish fucking all day, never make my bed for days on end when I was using, right?
Yeah.
And then doing a gratitude list every day, and then I go to a meeting every day.
We go to the same meeting every day.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
My sponsor says this great thing that recovery doesn't have to be the biggest thing in my life. It just needs to be the first thing. So
Ooh.
Teray and I get up. I know you have practices. You meditate in the morning, right?
Yes, sir. I do my meditation. Sometimes it's only for 10 minutes. Sometimes I could get locked up in an hour of meditating. I send out I create a gratitude list for just the things in life that I'm thankful for. It helps me put the day into perspective, because I feel like my brain wants to find all the things that are fucked up, all the things that are different, all the ways.
Why'd you look at me when you said all the things that are fucked up? You look right at me.
I mean,
You look straight into my
I was
eyes.
just assuming that you would pick up what I was
gonna
putting
have to
down.
call my sponsor.
My sponsor, gosh, she's here, wants to do step work. No, it's a blessing. It is a blessing to have you. And see, the old me would have had that outlook, right? Oh, fuck is he doing here? Why does he want? And now I'm like, no, this is so beautiful that we get to share this moment.
Very much
You
so.
know, but that's the way that my brain operated for the last 30 some odd years. So I've got to retrain my brain, and my gratitude list helps me do that because it just sets the tone for how I'm going to view what happens in the day.
Right.
And then we hop on our lovely meeting that
we have a meeting every morning,
Yeah.
which is cool. I have to
Oh,
say
that's
that morning meeting,
it's my favorite.
we have a great morning meeting.
That's my home base.
Yeah, and then you reach out to other people. You're doing this podcast, which is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
You know,
Yeah.
if you learn anything or hear anything, it's just not boring.
No.
I mean, what's boring? Fucking hiding drug use.
Being a degenerate drug addict is like, what the fuck was I doing? I was in like hotel rooms, like just laying there most of the time, and just like what's exciting about that? The possibility of what may happen at some
Look,
point, possibly,
I've
potentially.
told you this, that when I was fucked up, anything I did when I was high was just awesome. Like you could stick Scrabble tiles up my ass so we can try to spell words by pooping them out. It's the hottest experience. It's bullshit. You know?
Now that's insanity. That's
It's
not
total
limit.
fucking
No, it's
insanity.
insanity.
But and look, I used to have a lot of sex when I was high, right? And the sex that I have today with my partner, it is far from well, it's not boring.
Far from vanilla.
Yeah,
Far from vanilla.
right, and it's still fun. And
Yeah.
guess what? It doesn't take 4 days to try and have an orgasm.
Oh my God. Oh my. I'm not even gonna get into that fucking insanity for me, because I'm like, dude, if I could just fucking nut, if I would just fucking nut, this would be all over. This would be. I'd be the
Crazy.
perfect person again.
I wanted to remind you of this. 3 of my favorite things in the whole world are eating, sleeping, and having a boner. I call it a boner. Having a
Is it just having a boner or using your boner?
well, using the boner,
Oh,
but
fuck yeah.
this is getting hard, right?
Yeah.
And the very first 3 things that disappear when I would use
Food.
is my ability to sleep. I would not eat, and my dick was just better used as like a bookmark
And that's
for a
the,
very big book,
for-
like
for-
a large book,
yeah, for like the AA book.
like no, even bigger,
Even bigger.
a
Huge.
tome of Shakespeare.
Huge books. That's the definition of insanity. Like the 3 things you're like, I'm going to sacrifice because this is going to be so much better, and it's not. It's fucking
But
not.
here's the fucked up thing, right? We're both sitting here today sober.
Yes.
And our brains will still tell us, no, you should go do it, dude. It'll be different this time.
maybe this time
Ah, man.
it'll
It's
be
not.
different.
It's never going to work out for us. And that's a
No.
great thing to be able to know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, knowing that I'm an addict and that I am powerless over drugs and alcohol
Yeah.
may not be the sexiest thing about me, but it is the most important information I
I
have about
think
myself
it
today.
is a pretty sexy trait that we share.
think
Yeah.
so.
There's something sexy in sobriety that, like, it's a confidence, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's what attracted me to you completely platonically. It was like this, you beamed this security of sobriety, like this confidence in sobriety. And I was like, that, because I could walk into any room, and I'm a big person, I'm a big personality, but sobriety scared the fuck out of me. Sobriety was scary to me. The idea of getting sober, oh, I'm going to be so boring. I'm going to lose out on these experiences. What are the people around? What am I going to do with people? And then you walk in, and it's like, hi, I'm Bob. I'm sober. And I'm like, yes, that is what I need in my life.
My voice was a little lower.
It was,
just
hey,
saying hi.
I'm Bob.
just
I can't do it. I sound like Michael Keaton in Beetlejuice. What is that? What am I doing?
Don't do spoiler alerts on Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, you
Anyway.
ruined that for me.
We had a conversation. Anyway, anyway, I love being sober.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're doing this,
Thank you.
right? And if you heard anything today, it's just there's no need.
There's no need. So we heard what it was like. We heard what happened.
What's it like now?
What's it like now for you? Tell the people.
I have a great life. You know, I still work. I never fucked up my career by using drugs. It's a fucking miracle. That's
Yeah.
just crazy. I also always brushed my teeth when I was high. Because
When you were high, you did?
yes.
I could go like 2 days, but then no. Actually, I think I would go 1 day. That's my max.
Here's the sick thing. I always brushed my teeth. I always took my meds and my vitamins because I care about.
That's what's on your mind.
Because I'm not, I'm going to take care of myself even though I'm fucked up.
Just, yeah.
I also would never, this is back when I got in the program and I had relapsed a few times. I would never take a sleep aid that wasn't prescribed for me.
Oh, because
I'm
now
in the program.
Because now your body's a temple. Because now your body's a temple.
It's just fucking insanity. Fucking insanity.
I'll just say, you and your husband and your husband, it is beautiful.
Oh,
it
thanks.
is. You guys are truly beautiful, and you are an inspiration. And I mean, for me and Alex, my husband, like to see you guys doing it and kicking it at this age, it gives us so much hope, and it gives us something to look forward to. So thank you.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
also, shout out to you and Alex.
Oh, thank you.
Look, loving an addict.
I don't know if I could do it, girl. I don't know if I could do it.
It is
No, I joke.
tough love to love someone who's an active addiction because, I was not a man of integrity. God bless my husband, and the fact that we still have a relationship. Who knew? He's my best friend.
It's beautiful.
But also, you guys are working a great life. You
Yeah,
guys have a great
thank
life.
you.
And to realize that there are so many reasons to stay sober. I was running from my childhood for a good portion of my life.
Yeah.
Today I'm moving towards something, and that is a huge difference for me.
Wow, you
Right?
just said something so powerful. You were running from something, and now you're running
Moving
towards
something.
something. That's so
Right.
powerful.
And I think that fucking opiates in this country, and the fact that I know so many sad stories of people who did not have addiction in their before them, and then they got injured, right? Especially in sports.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're addicted to opiates, and it
Yeah.
crashes and burns our lives,
It
and then
really just took the nation by.
right.
Yeah.
And then also this shame, man. What a wasted emotion. Healthy regret. I'm so sorry that I parked my car on your lawn and killed your prize-winning roses when I was high. That's regret.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a bad person. I'm fucked up. I'm
Yeah.
a loser. I'm not I used to think I was a loser because
Same.
I couldn't understand how in the world someone like me became an addict. But I've always been an addict. I was addicted to fantasy, right? Junk food. I say this. I used to spend my allowance on Twinkies and Ho-Hos. And as an adult, I used to spend my hard-earned money on Twinks and Hoes, right? Because I still...
I still love that one. I've heard it before, but it's so fucking good.
I'm not into Twinks. Nothing against the Twinks.
Nothing against the twink community. We don't want backlash.
No, but if you can step over to Twunk, I'm all in.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
But I've been medicating and running my entire life. And here's the thing. Dale, my sponsor, is so great. So fear is what motivates so many of us. And fear
Yeah.
is good. You don't want to go pet the wild grizzly bear. Don't do it. However, the fears, where did I see this? That all the fear that we imagine doesn't even exist. And he always says that fear is like you're on a highway and there's a wall that's 7 miles high and 7 miles wide, and it's fear. And you're like, why would I even take this road? It's like, keep going. When you finally get to that wall of fear, you touch it, it's paper thin, and it falls apart, right? So I just do my best to try and not be fearful.
Yeah, and I think you touch on something very, very important. I'll speak for me. My addiction thrives. It eats shame and guilt for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It wants me to be in shame and feel guilty for doing it, right? It's the thing creating it.
That's the worst cycle, right?
And then it feeds off of that to keep me in addiction, where I'm isolated, where I don't feel like I can speak to anybody, where I'm so disgusted with myself. And it's like, yes, I am the answer.
It's like the worst computer virus in the world. The first thing that the drug does is it removes our ability to have any perspective and take judgment, right?
Totally.
And then it's going to take the shame of using again. I promised myself, and then I used it, right?
Yep.
Look, I can't do this by myself.
Yeah.
I have tried. You have tried.
Yeah, it don't work.
And then as soon as we humble ourselves and decide that we can benefit from the help of others, things change. I have to
Yeah.
pee so badly.
Take a pee. Hey, and we are back. I'm Teray, and this is Fill in the Hole. Quick bathroom break, but all good.
It was really good.
Yeah, I really had to go. I
He
didn't
has a
realize.
bidet. I didn't use the bidet.
But you could.
I could, but what I really want to use is that bathtub in there.
Did you see it's full of cold water?
Are you doing a plunge?
I did a plunge this morning.
Oh, you did.
I did a plunge, and then I did hot water, shower, and then back into the plunge. I was a psychopath. But remember my gratitude list, and I said Goldie Hawn. Thank you, Goldie Hawn.
Right.
She talks about it, and she's just so amazing to listen to.
Can you unpack the plunge for me?
Absolutely. I could unpack it with a plunger if you'd like. So cold plunges are really good for just like rejuvenation and shaking your cells to their core. Like just like a very molecular rejuvenation.
It's like going clear.
Yeah, exactly. It has enough dopamine release to be on the same Richter as sex.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that exactly, but I know it's up there. I know it's like...
So what tool do you use to get my testicles out of my throat?
Oh, no, that's the beauty of it. Your testicles are in your throat all day. So you...
My testicles?
Yeah, well, whoever... your testicle, my testicle, who's ever testicles. It is just so refreshing, and... you get a testicle.
You're Oprah now.
You get a testicle.
You get a scrotum,
You
and
get
you
a
get a scrotum.
Your scrotum's in your throat now. But yeah, it's just my body feels like tingles, and my body clearly craves some kind of some wake up, something and so the cold plunge, it just really was. It's healthy for you. It's extreme, and it just makes you feel alive.
Hey, fun fact, right? When if you're feeling a craving, there's something I learned in rehab where they put a bunch of ice in your hand.
Okay.
And they say, how long do you think you can hold on to this ice? Can you hold on to this ice for a minute? I'm like, fuck yeah. Dude, I'm from Jersey.
I'm from Jersey.
Okay, you cannot hold on to a handful of ice for a minute. And what happens is your body, I'm assuming this is the cold plunge theory, your body's going, danger, Will Robinson, what the fuck's going on?
Abort.
Right? So is that cold plunge always on hand and ready to go?
No, but I could definitely reach into the freezer and grab some ice.
No, but anyway, if you're feeling a craving, or if you're just in a fucking mood, right,
Yeah.
and you want to change a mood, like move a muscle, change the mood. However,
Yeah.
cold plunge or a bunch of ice in your hand
Yeah.
will help you your body. It'll just help you jumpstart and create some distance between you and the uncomfortable feeling.
Totally.
And then you can actually call a sponsor or go pet a dog or something like that.
And I mean, that makes total sense, right? Here, now, this is a mantra that I'll repeat to myself. Here, I'm here. Now, right now, this. And it's just a coping tactic to ground me in the moment.
Right.
And so the cold, waking your senses up, that's amazing. I'm going to try that if, yeah.
But I also want to say that, Teray, his bathtub is huge, and there are many plights of the tall man, but one of them is I have a jacuzzi tub at home with my husband, and when I get in the jacuzzi tub, my knees are underneath my nose because it's so small.
I'm very lucky for that bathroom. That was a passion project.
But who puts it?
Oh my god! Who puts a tub in the basement?
Who said that?
That was my bonus mom. She's like, you're not putting a bathtub in the basement. Who puts a tub in the basement? Oh god.
Hey, I've had a great time.
I am so thankful for you. I'm so thankful for you being here. I'm so thankful to have you as my sponsor. Thank you, Bob. Do you have any closing remarks for the audience?
For the audience,
Or for me? Anybody? Me, the audience?
hey, I love being from Jersey. I think that Jersey people, everyone can be an asshole, but Jersey people are.
We're a special kind of asshole.
I so badly want to go in and do all this stuff. I just want to say that if you're listening to this, and if anything we said makes you curious about recovery and just building a better life, reach out. I'm sure you could always reach out to Teray.
Please.
Also, Al-Anon.
Al-Anon. There's so many programs out there.
But the life that we deserve is just on the other side of the fear in our life. So, again, I said earlier, I'm moving towards something today and not running from it. And it's okay to stop, pause, turn around, breathe, and start moving towards whatever your bliss is. So I guess that's what I want to say.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Bob. I really appreciate you.
like a brother.
I love you more.
Like an older brother, like a much older brother.
Wait, am I the older brother?
No, dude.
With this back?
With
this,
my
I might be.
knees, with my fucking knees.
We're like
If
Frankenstein.
they put us together,
Yeah.
we would be ready for the NFL.
If you took the good parts, but if you took the bad part, my back, your knees,
Yeah.
like we're probably like 50 years in the NFL.
How did your back get so bad? at this
I
young
played
age?
Division I football. I was a real boy. I played D1 football, and like you, I put myself through, to college. I didn't stay that long because I was like, move, I'm gay. I need to go to the city, and I need to figure it out.
And how'd that work out for you?
Oh, you're looking at it.
You're doing pretty good.
Thank you.
By the way, your sponsor is so handsome.
He is, and wise, and incredible, and humble. Humble.
I'm humble, motherfucker.
I love you. Thank you so much, Bob.